Yep. November 5th, 2023. And so, my black people, this is why I'm stepping out of shadows. I'm stepping forward to be a leader in our communities. Because I'm an OG. And there's plenty OGs. And I'm not talking about original gangsters. There's another meaning to OG too. That has to do with being a leader in your community. Somebody who's respected. Somebody who's, you know what I'm saying? They ain't about the bullshit. You know? OGs. We got to step up. Black women, we have to step up. Black people in general, we must step up. Do you see what is going on in this country right now? Ain't got a motherfucking thing to do with us. We ain't got nothing to do with no Palestine, Israel, Ukraine, migrants. But trillions, billions, and hundreds of billions of dollars are being sent to them. And it's all about, we have an obligation, we have a responsibility, we have a moral obligation. It's a humanitarian crisis. This is wrong. They came across their border and invaded Ukraine. And this. What about our border? Guess what? Black people, right now we're living in a state where anything concerning black people is unimportant. Everybody else all across the globe is more important than us. And of course, the white people have always been more important than us in our own country, where we didn't come here immigrating. We're the only ones who didn't immigrate. We're the only ones who didn't come and try to sneak in. We are the ones who were born here in chains. We are the ones who our ancestors were. Our whole history here has been nothing but humanitarian crisis after humanitarian crisis. Vicious, violent brutality. And they want to talk to us about a moral obligation when these same white folks systematically, decade after decade, even after slavery was over, did things like bred our slaves. They don't talk about that. 50, 60 years. Did things like put all these practices into place. Sharecropping, indentured servitude. Well, indentured servitude was before. But sharecropping, the practices where, they had to buy stuff from the plantation store where the prices were extremely high, so they could never come out of debt. And by the time they got their portion of the crop, they owed so much they could never get ahead. This is the type of shit they do to us, even now with banking practices. And talk about we have no obligation, while generation after generation, decade after decade, they go out their way to do things to hamstring us, like when they said back when I was little, way back when my mother was little even, oh, welfare, we'll give you welfare, not reparations, welfare. But can't have no man in the house. And systematically strip the black men out of the home and talk about separating families. Huh? Are black people separating families? No, that would be the government. And they're talking about people who are lawless, break all laws, bring their children and put them here in our schools without immunization and tell us we're racist if we want them to go home. Do they put them in the white schools and the white communities without immunization? Do they even let them live in the white communities? Like when they dropped them off in the Hamptons? Huh? They immediately got them out. We don't have the infrastructure for that. We don't have it either. And we're being forced, and now they're trying to do more brainwashing, more white gaslighting and lying. While all these folks come over here and talk about they want to be American, and then come here and protest, burn flags, and have the nerve to go put white paint on the wall of the White House and try to push down the White House gate. Now, if we had done that, black people, protesting for Palestine, why they don't go over there and go protest over there? Come here with all of their tribal fucking problems from their fucking countries and call black people super predators, our kids. But our kids were taught that violence by the white man who did nothing but brutality to us and refused to even let us be free without a fucking whole war here, a civil war. And even then, we had to get our heads bust open, black people and whites who fought for us and some Jews who helped out. Whoever was here at the time. It wasn't none of y'all foreign motherfuckers. Because y'all wasn't even allowed in back then. I know I was born in 1969, so miss me with the bullshit, motherfuckers. First time I ever seen a fucking Chinese kid up close was in 4th grade. That would have been in the 70s, motherfuckers, when y'all started coming. And this is New York. This ain't, some town out in the sticks. This is New York, where everybody comes first. So, my black people, we can change all this. Because we ain't get nothing out of it but a hard way to go. And now our children must go, those who are in the armed forces, and go fight foreign wars again. Or how the armed forces. Do you see the kind of quarters that they're living in, our armed forces? Shameful! While they give free shit to foreigners coming here, top-notch hotels and shit, everything for free. But our armed forces who fight for security, supposed to be for America, are living in moldy, leaky places where they can get sick. And ain't no money being put to that. Ain't no money being put to black people. Ain't no money being put to our schools other than for the migrants. Ain't no money being put towards housing except for migrants. Now they're to the point where they're making tent cities for them. Had Trump did tent cities for the migrants, what would have happened? They'd have come running out and say, oh my God, look at this. This is horrible. Look what he's doing. He's treating them like second-class citizens. But they knew all along. They couldn't keep doing that giveaway all free. They did that to draw them here. And now that they've drawn them here by the millions, because they want them to be the new voters, they're going to try to hurry up and get an amnesty or whatever for them, so that they can vote forever in our elections. And black people, our vote will mean nothing. They will never, ever do anything for black communities again. Do you see all the money they pouring in our black communities now that they said they did not have for us? For our schools, housing, our benefit, and especially not for reparations. You know why? They're currently giving our reparations to everybody around the world. Ukraine, Israel, and I ain't got nothing against Israel. I ain't got nothing against Palestine either. It's not my problem, motherfucker. Did Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Mexico, or down in South America or Africa, Russia, Eastern Europe, any of them come here to help free the slaves? They didn't give a fuck. They knew we were slaves and nobody came here because they didn't want to be enslaved themselves, I guess. Or treated like second-class citizens themselves, I guess, for like the whites, foreign whites. But they figured out a long time ago slavery was wrong. That's why they stopped enslaving each other. And instead went all around the globe with their culture of conquest and corruption to conquer and corrupt and also cannibalize cultures and people all over the globe. Brutally, the Africans and the whites worked together, whether they were all over from Europe, whether they were from Spain, England, whether they were from Italy, whether they were from all over, the Dutch, all over, to brutalize black people, strip Africa of black wealth, which the Africans willingly gave away. Let's make that clear. For rum, guns, and trade. That's what they sold our people over here for, black people. You know, I already researched everything. We have a very good case for reparations. Excellent. It's almost inevitable that it will have to be given. Know why? Because we ain't never got anything that was promised to our people. They have never been honest with our people. The white people, and I'm not saying all, some stand against it because they know Black people are being brutalized, marginalized, and our communities are sabotaged again and again by the government who help bring drugs here. Look up Barry Seals. Help bring drugs here. Talk about we want to make sure that communism don't spread. You invited it in the country, stupid! With all them foreigners who got brought in without close inspection through immigration. Had the fucking nerve. And they did all of that so they wouldn't have to deal with giving us reparations. Because as soon as black people had Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and we were talking about reparations, then they had this woman who was a congressman, I think she was some black bitch, who was an FBI informant denouncing Martin Luther King. You know who I noticed she did not denounce? She did not denounce the white folks who brutalized our people. She didn't call them blackmailers. Huh? She didn't call them, when they do things like demand black people leave these towns, leave everything you got, or we're going to kill you, burn you out. They've attacked us. Even Central Park used to be a black community that they then tore apart. They don't like to see black communities doing well. You know why? Because I guess they can't do it without black help or without, dirty tricks. Obviously. The white man has never went anywhere and just legitimately, not as far as Africa. I don't know about the rest of the world. I didn't research everything. As far as Africa, they ain't never went to Africa with any intent other than to get slaves, resources. The Africans were stupid enough to do it, and they helped them too by getting them drunk, rum, guns, trade. Because you need rum, right, Africa? And you need guns to fight each other, not to fight the white man. Oh, no. Africans smile and grin in the white man's face, even after the white man has brutalized Africa with y'all consent by y'all letting them in. See, I wouldn't have did it. There would have never been no slaves if I was in charge of Africa. You know why? Because first of all, I wouldn't enslave my own, period. We would work together, not enslave each other, work together to keep all of our kids safe, to grow and keep our kids safe. So there wouldn't have been no slavery for them to come for. But had they come looking for slaves anyway, okay, I would have said, oh, what do you mean? Oh, because I would have wanted to rock them to sleep and see what's going on. Because I know once you sell one slave, it'll never stop. And eventually, if you don't want to sell them, they'll just take y'all. I would have known that. I wouldn't want to see nobody's kids going in chains. Something's very evil about y'all. And remember black people, black Americans are the only ones who never, ever, ever owned slaves. I don't know about Israel, but I know black people. I don't know about Jews and stuff like that. I've heard through history they did not, but I didn't research it. So I can't say. But I do know black Americans, we never participated in institutionalized slavery, race slavery over any race, other race. Black Americans took out their pain on our own. Okay? And I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying they never attacked a white person, robbed a not white person. But had we been in a position of equal footing, why would we have ever had to? We were very grateful to be free. Do you think black people want to attack whites so that we could be killed and enslaved, coming from a position of having been slaves? Fuck no. Anything they did was to fucking defend themselves, other than the zebra killings. I know about the zebra killings over in San Francisco. No, that wasn't defense. That was payback. The viciousness we were taught by the white man who taught it to us for hundreds of years by coming here, dragging us here and brutalizing us and saying, you better not learn to read. You better not learn nothing, math, nothing. And you better let us rape you and murder you or else we'll do it to everybody. And they did, whenever they felt like. And that same mentality of them is still there because all of their ancestors are still here, just like ours. Excuse me. So black people, hell no, we ain't participating in this. We're going to all pull our vote together and demand reparations immediately before the fucking vote. Just like they pull billions out, almost trillions from nowhere. When they say we ain't got no money for y'all schools, we ain't got no money for your communities, we ain't got no money for jobs, them jobs ain't coming back. All of a sudden, jobs are here now for the migrants. Black people, we can change this with our vote. We put our vote all together, okay? And if they don't want to give us anything for the election, guess what? We'll start our own political party, our own political action group. Yeah, our own black activism. See, when we did that back in the day, it wasn't called activism. They were spied on, infiltrated, had people who was turned to spy on them and work for the government, work for Hoover, work for the FBI, to spy on our people.